close in game one. Right now it's time for game two as the Sacramento Kings lead the best-of-7 series 1-0. Our McDonald's brackets so far in the conference semifinals, only one road victory. And that was game one of this series by the Kings. Good evening, everyone. Along with Bill Walton, Mike Green on hand. Jim Gray will join us shortly. Playoff basketball is all about adjustments in series. All right, game one is over with. Bill, what are the key adjustments for game two?
Mike, Sacramento played great, but they can't be satisfied with the split. The team that wins the previous game is in complete control. Minnesota, on the other hand, they have got to get to the hoop and the free throw line. They cannot settle for the three-point shot. They took twice as many threes as they did free throw attempts. That will not get it done.
So a lot of different things going on the last couple of days with the two coaches. Let's take a look at our starting lineup, sponsored by Bud Light. In our starting lineups tonight, Mike Bibby and Doug Christie, of course, in the backcourt. Christie has the foot problem we'll get to in a little bit. Peja Stojakovic, Weber, and Divac. Of course, Irvin Johnson starting at center with Garnett, Sprewell, Hassel, and Cassell.
Doug Christie's foot, that has to be Minnesota's point of attack there. Chris Weber neutralized Kevin Garnett. He needs to do that. Jim Gray has more on Doug Christie's foot. Jim?
Bill, thank you very much. Doug Christie has plantar fasciitis in his left foot. He did not practice the past couple of days. In fact, Rick Adelman told us before the game he didn't think he was going to play on Tuesday. He was able to play. I spoke to Pete Youngman. He's the trainer for the Kings. He said the condition has not gotten any worse for Doug Christie, but it's not gotten any better. I talked to Christie. He said he's about 65%. He's going to play until he can't play anymore. Mike?
And Jim, he has played so well for this team down the stretch of the regular season and in the playoffs thus far.
Depth, a major problem for Rick Adelman. Bobby Jackson not able to play. A real key for Flip Saunders is Latrell Sprewell. The only good news on Sprewell's behalf is that he can't play any worse than he did in game one.
And this crowd is fired up. A sold-out Target Center. And the place was pretty upset as Cassell puts up the first shot of the night. The fans are very upset. Loading talk shows would talk about, oh, we're in big trouble. It's only one game, but they were very distraught by what happened in game one.
If you have the best team, if you have the best player, you should win no matter where the games are. That's the challenge for Kevin Garnett.
They go to Garnett, again 6 of 21 in game one, and he hits his first shot tonight.
Kevin Garnett did have 18 rebounds in game one, but it was the 6 turnovers that proved so costly for the Timberwolves.
Garnett himself was very upset. Said a lot of the shots wasn't what the defense did, rather he just missed them. Nice feed from Christie. Divac couldn't find the angle. And Irvin Johnson the board.
Flip Saunders says we cannot give up layups defensively. We have to deny the penetration and then rotate defensively when the plays break down.
Garnett with Stojakovic on him.
He needs to torch Peja here.
And Divac the rebound. Talk about positives for Sacramento. Mike Bibby's performance in game one, coming off what he did game 5 against Dallas. He has been brilliant.
And here's one of the first adjustments, Mike. Right. You have Latrell Sprewell guarding Bibby, putting more size.
Stojakovic misfires. Garnett with the block. Sprewell, good hard drive to the basket. Can't finish, however. And Bibby will come the other way.
Surprising that Kevin Garnett couldn't stick a fork in that rebound.
Johnson the rebound.
Irvin Johnson having a strong opening couple of minutes here. Maybe try to attack Vlade Divac.
Sacramento 0 for 5 to start from the field. Johnson. Divac's got a piece. Divac had a strong game one. He did not play well in the Dallas series. Rick Adelman said one of the positives in game one was the impact Divac had as Sam Cassell is called for his first.
But Mike, the balance for Sacramento with 6 guys in double figures, led of course by Bibby's 33. But then the big guys, Vlade, Weber, Miller, they combined for 42 points and 24 rebounds in game one.
Well, they came out 34 points in the opening period. They came out fired up. Bibby was terrific in the opening period. Stojakovic misfires, and the Kings are 0 for 6.
Kevin Garnett, the game's best rebounder, igniting yet another fast break for Minnesota. Fine transition defense, though, for the Kings.
Bad pass from Hassel. The turnovers have been a bit of a problem for Minnesota as Stojakovic can't handle that pass. Minnesota's always built one of the premier teams in terms of fewest turnovers. They were second in the NBA this year behind Dallas, but they've been turning the ball over more than they have. And you see in game one.
And what was it that Flip Saunders told us this morning? We played out of character. We didn't stick to our plan. This is an incredibly disciplined team with great players, veteran squad across the board.
Hassel left wide open. Trent Hassel had 17 points in game one. That's the most he scored in a Minnesota uniform. This is first year with the Timberwolves.
Trent Hassel outplayed Peja Stojakovic, an all-NBA performer, an all-star, probably the best shooter in basketball. Peja Stojakovic. Trent Hassel just took it to a nice tease by Vlade.
Well, Divac, that's the first bucket. Took them over 3 minutes to score. Cassell rushed the shot. First, Cassell had that unbelievable finish with the 12 points in the final couple of minutes with all those three-pointers.
He's the only guy that's got 40-point games in the first 2 rounds this year. Last year, 7 different players had 40-point games. Way off the mark for Chris Webber.
See, the Timberwolves have come out with a lot of ferocity on the defensive end.
I'd come back to Sprewell right here. He's the guy with the most on the line. Game 1 of the Denver series, he was atrocious. Came back with a monster 31-point game. Look for more of that tonight.
Hassel again, left wide open. That time can't make him pay, and Stojakovic the board.
Rick Adelman is going to make guys like Trenton Hassel and Irvin Johnson beat you. Nice step out on the double team, Christie.
Beautiful pass from Vlade Divac. That's one of the things Divac does well. Averaged over 5 assists per game in the regular season. He was actually 20th in the entire league in assists. And a blocking foul call on Divac. That's his first.
The exasperated look on Rick Adelman's face. Granted that Kevin Garnett's leg was on the outside of Vlade's right leg, but that sure appeared to be a charge from this vantage point.
Tough angle we're on. Our officials tonight, Mike Callahan, Sean Corbin, and Eddie Rush.
Yeah, this terrible seat right here at midcourt. Great kick-ahead pass by Bibby.
And off the turnover, Sacramento able to score.
Good job here,
run.
but a good job here by Christie getting up in Sam Cassell's face, making him turn his back and walk it up. Sam's not one of those guys that wants to just blow by you.
So Christie on Cassell, Bibby is on Sprewell. Garnett, a high release. Divac does a good job keeping his hands up. Garnett thought he was fouled. They try to post up Christie. Divac comes to the open spot.
Why are the Minnesota Timberwolves double teaming Doug Christie? This guy hasn't played any basketball. He's the weakest link of the offensive scheme for Rick Adelman. They should let him just play by himself.
Christie's capable, certainly offensively, with a big three-pointer in game one. As Irvin Johnson misfires, both teams shooting poorly. They're combined 5 for 21.
Not a good sign that Minnesota has only got 4 points halfway through the opening quarter, the most important season or game in franchise history.
But they're only down 2. Shot clock winding down. Stojakovic. Webber has to put it up. Just gets it off. But another misfire.
But all these errant shots for Sacramento, Minnesota unable to capitalize. Another miss in the individual go-to offense of Kevin Garnett.
Hassel with the offensive rebound. Sam Cassell finding Garnett. Kevin Garnett's second field goal.
But the difference, Mike, between Kevin Garnett trying to go 1-on-3 as opposed to penetration and dish for a wide open shot.
They did a superb job on him defensively. Vlade Divac said,
"Oh, what a split."
And it'll stay the same way. Divac wanted a foul. And now we'll take a break. Rough shooting early. But perhaps expected that with the increased intensity on the defensive end. They're all tied at 6. Roll past the midway point. With a couple of field goals each. Tied at 6 with a little over 5 minutes remaining in the first. Sam Cassell is very confident Kevin Garnett will bounce back after a rough game one.
After Kevin won the MVP, all the momentum and adrenaline was flowing so much for him, all the hoopla around him. Now it's kind of over right now, so now it's just basketball, and that's when Kevin's just thinking about basketball, you know, he's the best in the league.
A little more on that, let's go to Jim Gray.
Mike had a chance to speak to Kevin Garnett, and he said, well, I played like crap, and we still had a chance to win. He said, they're not making any adjustments whatsoever tonight. Nothing at all. They're not changing a single thing. He said, only thing we have to make is our shots. I will be better. So far, that hasn't been the case. Mike?
Jim, will you please watch your language over there, please?
Christie way off the mark. You know what I loved what Garnett did, Bill, when he accepted the MVP trophy? He turned to his teammates and made them come out on the floor and join him.
Mike, I was privileged enough to be here in the Target Center on Tuesday night. It was such an emotional moment with Commissioner Stern here. It was special.
Garnett always looking at it from a team standpoint. Sprewell gets the pass somehow to Hassel, and a tough shot from Trent Hassel. It was like earlier this season, Garnett posed for the cover of Sports Illustrated, but he said he'd only do it unless Sprewell and Cassell were on the cover with him.
Making everybody else better at what they do, keeping them all involved, never drawing the attention to yourself. Weber can't get it done inside.
Plenty of contact on this sequence. Weber can't finish, and Hassel comes away with it.
Christie is very quick to the ball tonight, belying the fact that that foot is burning.
Sprewell with his first field goal. And the Timberwolves with 6 straight points. Ball last touched by Stojakovic. He says no, but it's going to be Minnesota ball.
And now it's the careless turnovers for the Sacramento Kings that are the story of the first quarter. The exact opposite of what happened Tuesday night. Rick Adelman cannot be happy whatsoever. The team flew home in between the two games. And with 3 days, why not? Not that far of a flight.
Now Bibby back on Cassell. Bibby with the steal, and then Cassell with the foul. Mike Bibby, terrific steal. He had 4 in game one.
Mike Bibby, like Tony Parker, is just establishing himself as truly one of the great point guards in basketball. It was Mike Bibby's defense at the start of game one that really got the Sacramento Kings going.
And here a nightmare for Flip Saunders early. Cassell has picked up his second personal. And we'll sit down. Derek Martin is going to come in. Martin's only averaging about 6 minutes a game. Cassell playing all the major minutes.
And all of those 6 minutes in the first half of every game, basically. Sam Cassell's been going wire to wire in the second half.
Bibby, tough shot. Very well contested by Sprewell.
Well, Sprewell is a good defender when he wants to be. The realization that Bibby is such a force, the leading scorer in the NBA playoffs, tied with Tim Duncan at over 25 points per game, Mike Bibby.
So here's Martin going to get some big minutes. Martin, a veteran in his 9th year. Signed from the CBA earlier. And a whistle.
Zone defense here.
Defensive 3 seconds. So a technical foul.
Problem is it took away a basket opportunity for the Timberwolves. Trenton Hassel was going in for a wide open layup.
So Garnett will go there.
MVP award ceremonies often turn out to be nightmares. I can remember in '95 when David Robinson was presented his at the Alamo Dome. Hakeem Olajuwon came in and just torched him that night. And in 2002, when Tim Duncan received his award, the Lakers came in to the Alamo Dome as well and just took it right to the Spurs that night. Same way Sacramento did to Minnesota on game one.
Well, the effect on Garnett is such a creature of habit. He has such a routine, and it changed his normal pregame routine. Everybody's superstitious as Hassel can't get it to go. Irvin Johnson blocked by Miller. Brad Miller, who led the team in blocks this year, threw that one back.
Nice pass, Bibby.
Stojakovic.
He is not going to miss that shot. I wonder what kind of thought process would make you make the decision to run by Peja Stojakovic.
Poked away, Miller with the deflection. So 2 good defensive plays from Brad Miller, and Bibby finishes down the other end. Crowd a little restless already.
Turnovers once again plaguing the Timberwolves.
Sprewell. Irvin Johnson with the rebound. That's his 8th rebound here in the first quarter. Now, he's had a lot of opportunities with all the missed shots, but still an impressive number.
He and Sprewell have been the most dynamic performers in the early going.
Hassel. Nice move from Trenton Hassel. He is more than just a defensive stopper. He's got the ability to score. It's just not a role he has on this team.
17 points, a season high in game 1.
Miller comes back.
Minnesota won the season series 3-1 this year. They won both games at Arco. Sacramento won the first game, an overtime thriller here where Peja Stojakovic just went absolutely nuts. But that leads Minnesota to believe that they can get the job done in Sacramento.
Both were good road teams during the regular season. Sprewell for 3. And Latrell Sprewell already with as many field goals in the first quarter as he had the entire game 1.
This is such a game of emotion, and Sprewell, the fierce competitor that he is, you have to anticipate that he's going to come out strong and go to him.
Stojakovic misfires.
Hassel's defense must be given great credit for the declining productivity of Peja Stojakovic.
Well, he's slowly gaining a reputation as a premier perimeter defender. And Garnett is fouled.
And this is a great sign here because Garnett didn't take his first free throw until 8 minutes left in the game of game 1.
It's been a physical start. Timberwolves by 3. Look for travel to Miami. Heat will try and get a road win, 8 Eastern. And then game 2 will be at Arco Arena in Sacramento. Minnesota and Sacramento game 3 of this series.
Mark this date down in NBA history. A promo that did not include the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern.
That came, of course, on ABC. Now you got it in there. Garnett hits the free throw, and you see the playoff numbers. To me, look at the assist. He's led the team in assist every single playoff game thus far, and he's 7th in the entire league in the playoffs. Overall, with 7 assists per game, just the magnificence of his versatility.
But he should. That's the best part of his game, along with his defense and his rebounding.
Dangerous pass from Miller.
Almost hit Flip Saunders over there in the head. Flip, a great point guard in his own day.
Shot clock winding down again. Oh, Bibby, beautiful move. And the pass blocked from behind. And he'll jump it up.
Mike Bibby is splitting that double team when he comes off that pick and roll. Chris Webber cannot believe that he's not going to the free throw line here. Looked like a clean block. Bibby's execution of that pass. Hassel from behind, that is nothing but ball there. Olowokandi, you need to get more productivity out of him. Can he control a jump ball against a smaller player?
Olowokandi has really struggled in the playoffs. Can't catch your own tip, he almost caught it. Stojakovic from way downtown. Shot clock was winding down, and that's inbounds. Top of the backboard is inbounds.
Fans are just beside themselves over Olowokandi's futility.
And Hassel makes another terrific play, bounces it off Bibby.
With penetration, the ball popped away, and Hassel able to just tap it right off the already standing out of bounds player, Mike Bibby. Olowokandi was the #1 draft choice in the same draft that Brad Miller went undrafted.
Martin playing the big minutes here in the first quarter because and that will end the first. Had to throw it up. The time winding down, and the opening period is over. In game 1, Sacramento scored 34 points in the first quarter. Here in game 2.
Before the game, you said you didn't want to disrupt things.
Of course I don't want to disrupt them to anything. We're playing so well right now, but I feel like I can come out and give this team so much energy and so much hustle, and that's what we're lacking right now on both sides of the ball. But I don't want to disrupt the chemistry. If we're going to continue to play well, then I just keep sitting out until I get 100%.
Are you the missing link, and are you willing to put that pressure on your shoulders?
No, I don't want to put none of that on my shoulders, man. I think, to win championships, you got to have a whole team effort, and That's what this team is about. I mean, we got a lot of guys that can do so many things, but not one guy gonna win a championship for us. It takes 12 guys on the bench.
Last question, Bobby. I know that you're a tough guy and you haven't missed games in the past, but are you sensitive to the criticism of people saying you should be playing?
Not really. I don't care less about what people say. I got to take care of myself and make sure I'm looking out for my best interest when I step on the basketball court. Because if I don't play up to my best of my capabilities, that's when people really going to criticize me. So I'd rather not. So I'd rather sit out and be hurt and then go out there and play injured.
Bobby, thank you. We look forward to seeing you next Friday night. That's great news.
Thanks, man.
All right, back to you, Mike.
Jim, thank you. Sprewell rattles it in. Sprewell with 7 points already, 3 for 5 from the field. Sprewell did the same thing, Bill, in the Denver series. Had a very rough game 1, but bounced back with a superb game 2. So far, so good for game 2 in this series 1.
I'd like to follow up on Jim's conversation with Bobby Jackson. Any insinuation that this guy is not hurt is just ludicrous. He's one of the fiercest competitors in the game today. When Bobby Jackson says he's hurt and he can't play. Lay off the guy.
Last year he won the Six-Man Award. Hit so many big shots with him in the postseason and is such a terrific, tough defender. Christie, speaking of terrific defenders, right on cue. And Hassel makes the initial play, but good hustle from Brad Miller. And Miller's starting to play well. Bill, he was banged up during the course of the season. He had the ankle injury, he had the elbow injury, his shoulder was hurting him as well. But during the Dallas series, he said it's the best he's felt since earlier in the season as Peeler picks up a foul. And Miller's such an important part of this team.
In game 1, Brad Miller off the bench. 13 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists. This guy can play ball.
One reminder, join ABC Sports tomorrow afternoon when the Lakers host the Spurs. Of course, San Antonio winning the first 2 games. Our coverage starts with NBA hang time at 3 Eastern. Then on ABC, home of the NBA Finals, game 3 of that series. 2 minutes gone by here in the second. Timberwolves by 3. Fred Hoiberg fresh in the game, fresh on the scoreboard.
Fred Hoiberg, the 4th best three-point shooter in the entire NBA, did not have a good game 1.
But he's played extra minutes with the injury to Wally Szczerbiak. And comes through there.
He's getting 28 minutes a game since Wally went down there, so that's very good for Fred.
Tough matchup for Hoiberg down the other end. The defensive 3 seconds, so the technical foul. Of course, free throw shooting was huge in game 1, Bill, because of the disparity. 35 free throws to 12 in favor of Sacramento. Now, a lot of them came late in the game when they were fouling on purpose, but still it was a huge discrepancy.
The style, and that's one of the real criticisms of this Minnesota team. They don't attack the rim. They don't have a post-up guy. Kevin Garnett is trying to do that, but he's a guy, Garnett, who does not shoot volume free throws.
Stojakovic, meanwhile, now 3 for 3 from the line. There you see the numbers. Stojakovic has now hit 59 consecutive free throws, counting the end of the regular season and the playoffs.
Now, will that streak count?
No.
It's only regular season free throws.
Correct.
Thank you.
Of course, that's Michael Williams, who has 97.
Playing for this franchise as well as Vancouver, Michael Williams.
Shot clock winding down. And Hoiberg the rebound. And how many times have I said that already? Shot clock winding down. It shows you the defense Minnesota's playing. Gary Trent's in the game early.
Nice pass, Hoiberg. Mike, this is the 2nd lowest scoring playoff in the history of the NBA since the inception of the shot clock. Olowokandi scores. First time in 4 games. Mark this date down in NBA history.
Any type of offensive lift he can give them would be enormous, as he has really struggled. And Stojakovic, a foul call before the travel. Flip Saunders wanted travel, but he got bumped.
Duke Callahan's going to step in and overrule the travel violation.
We'll have a timeout. Just over 3 minutes gone by in the second. A heated start. Minnesota's impressive early.
Sacramento is a little bit relaxed in terms of they've got the 1 game here. And that's exactly what Rick Edelman did not want the attitude to be for the Kings.
Yeah, he said, don't think that you've accomplished anything. You still need to win 4 games. It was one of his concerns, and it's easy to do sometimes. for a lot of teams. The goal for the road team is to split the first two.
Minnesota, best road team in the NBA, tied with Indiana this year.
Although Candy misses everything.
Just off the mark.
I think, Bill, would you agree that this series you're going to see a number of road wins in this series?
Without question. I think the big concern for Sacramento has to be health and the fact that they're going to start playing every other day, starting with Monday night's game.
Nice shot from Christie. Christie trying to take advantage of Cassell guarding him.
And if Christie's foot doesn't stay healthy enough that he can play, it's going to be a nightmare for Rick Adelman, because Christie plays backup point, he plays backup three, and he starts and plays huge minutes at the off-guard position. Offense starting to fall apart. How long is Kevin Garnett going to be sitting on the bench over there?
As soon as you said it's their offense, but without Garnett, it makes a difference. Back-to-back air balls. Back-to-back air balls. Sprewell, it's right up on Stojakovic. Nice defensive play. Sprewell admits he's not as quick as he used to be, but he can still be a very tough defender, using his experience, using the angles. He's always been a good defensive player.
Peja goes to the bench, but that play where he tried to make that drive there and create his own shot, that's not really Peja's game. He can do it to some extent, but he is so much better. And with the passing and screening big men that they have, he should never have to take a shot like that.
Coming off screens in transition, those spot-up threes, he's only 2 for 8. Not shooting with confidence. Peeler misses. Trent tries to save it. Whoa. Goes flying into the crowd. And we just hope that some of the people at courtside are okay. He went in very hard.
There's a lot of people down over there. Gary Trent has not been playing much. He's obviously trying to get the attention of Flip Saunders.
There's a couple of women who he went flying into.
Whoa.
And the one...
That's dangerous as can be.
Yep. Good catch from the man right behind to help that woman who fell down. She turned and said, "I'm okay."
I was taught to never dive for the ball. That if you were so far out of the play that you had to dive for it, just let it go and get it back the next time.
Who taught you that?
A guy by the name of John Wooden, who was the coach at UCLA.
No argument here. We're still trying to fix up some of the wet areas, some of the beverages.
Speaking of Coach Wooden was almost going to be the coach here at University of Minnesota. It was a snowstorm that kept the communication lines from being open, and Coach Wooden then took the job at UCLA when Minnesota was his first choice.
There are a lot of happy people for that snowstorm. Peeler spotting up. Anthony Peeler, who could become very big for this team again without Bobby Jackson. And you heard from Jim Gray that Jackson hopes to play next Friday. And with Christie, Peeler's going to have to play some important minutes.
Peeler played 5.5 years here. He's the all-time leading three-point shooter in this Minnesota Timberwolves franchise history.
A good experienced player who can certainly help. Trent, nice move from Trent. Blocked. Divac with the rejection.
Christie wide open in this wing over here. They don't see him.
Bibby's rushed his shots a little bit here in the first half.
He's a scorer. He's not really a setup guy.
Trent wanted to look for a shot, that time finding Hoiberg.
The collapsing defense for the Kings is tremendous.
How about Trenton Hassel? 8 points on 4 of 6 from the field.
Trenton Hassel is a solid basketball player in every effort. They think of him just as a defender here. Christie, again, is strong and attacking.
See, that's the thing about Christie and Hassel. Again, they're both known for their defense. Christie, 4 years in a row, has been all-NBA defense, but they both have the ability to score in a couple of different ways.
Trenton Hassel is shooting 58% from the floor, 4th in the NBA in playoffs. And here's a guy who never turns the ball over. In the entire regular season this year, Trent Hassel out of Clarksdale, Tennessee, just 46 turnovers all season long.
He was a big scorer in college. Went to school at Austin Peay.
His hometown. The same town, Clarksdale, Illinois. Tennessee, excuse me, that gave us Wilma Rudolph, the legendary track athlete and wonderful American.
This is a potpourri of information, historical information tonight.
3 games off between days.
Cassell fouled. Weber hit him. Just past the midway point of the second. Timberwolves by 3.
Speed Stick 24/7.
Not playing any defense, but they have the ability to lock it down. Rick Adelman very proud of the fact that the Kings are 5-1 in this year's playoff, and the way they collapse on Kevin Garnett, everybody coming. Kevin, a noted passer, not giving it up much tonight in the deep box, setting the screen, but they just keep rotating guys, running them at him, underneath him. Yes, he gets to the free throw line, and those are our Sprite Mad skills, the defensive capabilities of the Sacramento Kings.
So Garnett also with 4 rebounds in the early going as Cassell misses the first free throw. I spoke with Cassell this morning, and he's very proud of finally making an all-star team, all NBA second team this year. But he said that if it was the players who were voting for the all-star game, he would have made 3 or 4. He's always heard good compliments from his peers. He said his favorite was years ago Charles Oakley. After a game, took him to the side and said, "You're just such a clever player." He had never heard that word used to describe him, and said that you're the guy that makes others better, and I like the way you play, and that meant a lot to Sam Cassell.
Well, Mike, unlike you, Sam Cassell did not grow up with the silver spoon in his mouth. From Baltimore, Sam Cassell, Dunbar High School, took the B train and the 13 bus every day to school.
He also says someday he will be a head coach in the NBA. It's something he aspires to be. He says, I'll pay my dues as an assistant for a few years, but I'll be a head coach because I can relate to young players. Nice move from Brad Miller.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Sam will not hire George Karl as his assistant coach.
Then why would you start that? Starting trouble. Although Cassell did learn a lot, and he credits George Karl for really teaching him. He really blossomed in Milwaukee.
Nice zone defense, though. The attack by Minnesota. I like Sacramento playing some zone. Make these guys think.
Gary Trent, by the way, only played limited minutes in the playoffs thus far. We're getting some action here in the first half. Weber trying to find some room. Poked away by Hoiberg and knocked away a second time. Good interior defense.
Trent has done a fine job here for Flip Saunders. Seldom used these days.
Hoiberg for 3. Timeout, Sacramento. Minnesota Timberwolves shooting the lights out in the second quarter. 8 for 11 from the field. Things at both ends of the floor. He's had a couple of deflections and then knocked down the jumper. And the largest lead of the first half for the Timberwolves.
And Hoiberg delivering with his game instead of his mouth. Nice to see. Got an opportunity here. Christie's down in the back court. Minnesota capitalized. Nice pass, Cassell.
Hassel, Garnett. Good defense from Brad Miller to make Garnett adjust.
KG has got to finish that strong at the hoop or get to the free throw line. No time for double clutching. Second round of the playoffs. Hoiberg again.
Another steal for Hoiberg. Fred Hoiberg and the bench getting it done. 8 points for Hoiberg. Weber misfires. Weber 1 for 9.
Settling for the perimeter jumper. He was dynamic with his jump hook deep in game 1.
Hoiberg 3. A 10-0 run for Minnesota, led by Fred Hoiberg. And a foul before the shot. As Weber got hit with Fred Hoiberg sparking his team.
Played so many years with the Chicago Bulls in the lean years for the Bulls. And his ability to get out in transition, his ability to come and strip down low. Remember, Fred Hoiberg was a football player, an all-state quarterback. After being born in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Weber. And Weber gets one to go down. That ends the run, a 10-0 run. 8 of those points from Hoiberg. different Minnesota team than we saw from game 1.
Well, this is the team that finished the season so strongly. I mean, they just routed everybody down the stretch.
Ball knocked out of bounds. It stayed the same way with 12 on the shot clock.
And Mike, conversely, it was the Sacramento Kings that struggled so mightily. They lost 4 of their last 5 games they really needed to win for playoff position and home court advantage.
Cassell gets inside. Oh, Sam Cassell.
The 2-time world champion, Sam Cassell, showing his experience and leadership, gets called for a foul, his 3rd.
So Cassell very upset. He's got to be careful as he yells at NEF Rush. He felt he was fouled down the other end. And then as they came back, the 2 of them were bouncing around.
And now we got Latrell Sprewell being the voice of reason. Technical foul.
And Flip Saunders is upset.
Well, he should be upset. He's losing his mind. That was a good 45 seconds after the whistle was already blown.
The team has all the momentum, so Cassell picks up the technical. First, Stojakovic will shoot the 1-shot technical, and then 2 free throws because Minnesota's in the penalty. But again, Cassell with 3 personal fouls.
That's 60 straight now for Stojakovic at the free throw line. It's a tough call, but you're rolling. You got to let it go.
That's one I don't know about, Bill. They're kind of just both jockeying for position there. They've been kind of pushing each other, shoving each other the whole way down. As Christie hits the first of the 2 personal fouls.
But why are you trying to deny Doug Christie possession of the ball 18 feet from the basket?
Well, you don't. He can post him up. You don't want him to get the ball.
I'd rather have Doug Christie have it than any other member of the Sacramento Kings on the court right now, if you're defending the Kings.
11-point lead for Minnesota. Coming up on a 2-minute mark.
Again, zone defense. We're seeing a lot of that from Sacramento tonight.
Garnett blocked for the foul. And Weber commits his second. Garnett will go to the line.
But the way that Sacramento is running at Kevin Garnett, he's taken so much time to get into his play. I mean, if you don't have it immediately, kick it, get onto a dribble handoff situation.
Well, Rick Adelman telling us before the game that they've varied up the way they go at him. Sometimes they go at him right away with a second defender as soon as he touches. Sometimes they wait for him to put the ball on the floor. Sometimes they wait for him to take it into the paint. So they've done a good job of making Garnett not sure exactly how the double team's coming.
And they have 3 big guys who can all think the game. Miller, Weber, Vlade Divac. And one of the problems that Kevin Garnett has is that when you come with guys like Ola Candy and Irvin Johnson and Mark Madsen, guys who aren't going to be able to deliver once you give it up to them, makes it extremely difficult, and thus the reluctance of Kevin Garnett to give it up early.
10 points for Garnett. Minnesota by 13. Bibby's been very quiet. Stojakovic.
Gary Trent everywhere. How come he hasn't played the last 2 games?
Hoiberg for 3. 2-on-1 the other way.
Oh,
and Sprewell with a good hard foul, and Bibby will shoot a couple.
That is a foul. But interesting about Gary Trent, who hasn't even got into the game, is Sprewell is going to take a real hard foul here. That's just the whole side of your body right up against Mike Bibby.
But that's a good hard foul as opposed to some of the flagrants that you'll see. There's no question that's not a flagrant.
It's not a flagrant in that he's not going to get hurt on it. That type of play. You go body to body like that. But he wasn't making a play on the ball.
That has nothing to do with the flagrant though. The key is unnecessary, and he just went up to make sure that he couldn't get off a quality shot. Free throw shooting. Sacramento, it's helping them stay in the game. They're 10 for 10.
They took 35 free throws to Minnesota's 12 in game 1.
Hoiberg calling for the ball.
From the MVP.
Hoiberg fires it up. Almost went in. Trent with the offensive rebound.
Reset now. You got a full shot clock.
Garnett.
Or pull the trigger early.
Final minute of what it's been an impressive first half for the Timberwolves. And Weber able to get inside.
While Bibby's shooting has not been sharp tonight, his penetration and dish has been tremendous to the big guys. Miller, that time Weber.
4 assists for Bibby in the first half. Shot clock winding down. Garnett finds some room.
Great
There's a turnover.
Stojakovic.
For 3. And that's where Stojakovic excels. Those transition three-pointers.
Sacramento had 13 steals in game 1. Another one right there, igniting a fast break.
Shot clock turned off. Final shot of the half for Minnesota. Garnett. That was too easy.
That was too sweet. How many players in NBA history can do that at 7-1?
14 points, 5 rebounds for Kevin Garnett in the first half.